Thanks everybody for joining me today. My name is Matt Dillon. We're going to be covering the 7th of our series on Lead to Cash, which is Salesforce Lead to Cash, engaging with partners and customers.
Just a little background on myself. 17 years really working in the Salesforce platform, so it's been a great ride and really enjoyed the development of Salesforce and the platform over those years. I've worked in IT for the last 23 years, so date myself there a little bit, but had a lot of years in sales management, but also in the executive management team on digital transformation, and worked with about 500 clients in various industries. So excited to share with you some insights that I have, along with my team's insights on Lead to Cash and how you can use that to engage with your partners and customers. If you haven't attended some of the earlier sessions, I'll just talk a little bit about kind of the paradigm shift and what we're starting to see in terms of new technologies and processes and people. But the old paradigm really centered around everything living in the ERP system. And oftentimes what that happened is we had disconnected systems or siloed systems, from the CRM to the ERP to order management to a number of different things. And what that really kind of created was a series of inefficiencies that have accumulated over time. And so it really kind of struggled a lot of organizations, as we saw, with growth and profitability, because as they tried to scale and grow the organizations, that inefficiency surfaced over and over again. So we really kind of developed a paradigm that really centers around the CRM being the system of record, and really kind of that lens into the customer. We call it the customer 360, but it really has that central hub of data, whether you're looking at marketing or sales or service or account planning or any order management and even ERP data that can now live inside the CRM, that gives us that view of everything. And so it really facilitates the drives of business insights and knowing where to engage and how to engage, but also helps as you scale and grow to do it efficiently and effectively as possible. So again, as you've looked at the Lead to Cash diagram, if this is your first session, this is the first time you're seeing this, but for those that have attended multiple sessions before, you've kind of gotten familiar with it. But at the top, you can kind of see the functional areas that are touching the Lead to Cash, process. But below, what you're starting to see is, as more and more of this data becomes to live inside Salesforce, you can then start to expose it to either your partners, your customers, your employees through a myriad of different technologies. And so the exciting thing about it is that as the efficiencies inside the organization grow, they can then be extended. So one of the things we commonly see is that as Salesforce has expanded into community clouds, how can we create branded communities for customers, employees, and partners that extend our processes to them, right? And so starting to think about the external audiences that want a window into the Salesforce data, and how that can help you have a better experience with them, how you can facilitate growth with them, and how you can really support them move forward. Some examples of that, as we've often seen with channel partners, having a partner community that allows them to enter leads and collaborate on opportunities with training resources and marketing materials are common uses. Some cases you can do order management, and they can see what's going on in terms of their particular clients that you might be working with. But extending that data to them makes a better engagement and empowers them to be part of your team. Customers, we often see customer communities that also center around invoicing or cases or projects and orders, and even some commerce, because giving the ability for clients to sell and buy new services right from that community is pretty powerful, and it enables them to grow organically with your organization without having a lot of sales touch. So empowering them to do that, as well as we've seen a lot of clients look at empowering their employees with information that they need to access anywhere. So having a community for those employees, seeing where their benefits are, onboarding processes, pay stubs, all this great stuff. So really seeing the community overlay on top of the Salesforce data has been powerful in terms of expanding the functionality. The other thing we see a lot is, especially for organizations that are trying to streamline the sales process, is think about B2B and B2C audiences and how they purchase, right? And so looking at different sales organizations, they oftentimes will understand, is there a high touch or a low touch inside the selling process? and understanding, are there things that you could be doing to cross-sell and upsell or offer it in terms of a commerce solution that will streamline that selling process. And so that could be buying services, it could be a combination of LMSs or doing a number of different offerings via commerce platform. But Salesforce has that functionality to overlay on top of the community as well as overlay on top of Salesforce. So it allows you to do all that rich development right on top of the platform without building an integration. So this is kind of an example. It's not maybe each client's configuration, but it illustrates kind of the overlay of having the ERP and CRM data at the bottom, extending that through the middleware to the commerce solution, or having it available where you could build out and have an offering. It could be exposed with a payment gateway, which would allow you to handle all of your electronic payments, and obviously want to connect it to Google or any of those other search engines, so you could then see exactly where that traffic and it's coming from, but hopefully creating a seamless customer experience for your clients. So just an illustration of how Commerce Cloud could work, but those are definitely things that clients are looking at as they expand their Salesforce stack. The other thing that Salesforce customers typically will do is once they've built out their clouds inside Salesforce, they'll start thinking about what are the other things that are maybe unique to us that maybe you need to build. And what's nice about Salesforce's platform is you have the capability to do that through configuration with minimal coding. And so there are times where coding is required, but it's the situation is typically resolved through configuration, building objects, building fields, building workflows, as opposed to doing that through code. And Salesforce platform natively allows you to do that and to connect it to what you've already licensed through Salesforce. And then it also allows you to use the Salesforce infrastructure, right? And to have the capabilities to do that through the security model, to be able to do that through the security releases that Salesforce does, as well as the new developments that Salesforce does. So it keeps all of that in sync. And probably the most beneficial is that anything that you build on top of the Salesforce platform is mobile enabled. So then you have the capability to extend those things that you build through configurations and mobile enable them out of the box. So powerful. We understand that obviously everything that Salesforce platform offers is rich and deep, but ultimately what this diagram kind of illustrates for you is the ability to build employee apps, customer apps, and all these different functionalities, and then extend them to the places where people need to be. So the platform is oftentimes you don't see this is behind the scenes, but it does have a lot of great functionality that can be taken advantage of by your team. The other thing is that we have a lot of clients that, they have legacy systems that they're really not sure what to do with, and they really want to develop them and want to connect them to Salesforce, but they're not sure how. And so a lot of our clients come to us with this as a request, and we obviously use Heroku as a platform to help build with less coding, but pre-built components. And so that not only speeds up your development, but reduces your ongoing development costs move forward. And then it obviously integrates seamlessly with Salesforce. So that's a huge advantage in choosing that technology versus if you had to use an old legacy platform and had to integrate it, you have to maintain that and still maintain that old code base. So you're obviously able to develop this on multiple different languages. So that's nice, and that clients can pick languages they like to use. But it also gives you the scalability to grow, that if you do have a use case where you can't put the functionality inside Salesforce, you could then take this and build it in Heroku. Just kind of an illustration on kind of how that works is, as you build Heroku apps and then you build those components, you can then automatically pass that data through Lightning Connect, and then it becomes available. And then you have a bi-directional integration that you can sync with Salesforce and Heroku. The other thing that we have a lot of clients is the case where they do have an old legacy system that can't go away, but they do want to make it integrated, and they want to expose some of those data points into Salesforce because they want that 360-degree view, or they really want the lead to cache, but the old legacy system just not going away. We have the ability to use Salesforce's API to connect, which is great. It has an open API. Oftentimes, clients will want to use the Salesforce stack tools, which is MuleSoft or Heroku Connect. But they also, in other cases, have tools like Jitterbit or Boomi or Cast Iron, and they want to use them as well. So again, in just a API middleware strategy where you know you're not going to be able to get rid of those legacy systems is important to understand and to surface and to build a strategy through Salesforce's platform. Some of the ways that you can kind of really look at that is do you want to do those integrations in what we consider a bulk, or you need some type of real-time functionality, or maybe you want to do some data visualizations, or you want to be able to pull transformational data out, meaning you're going to actually transform the data in real time through a stream. Salesforce's platform support that, right? And so having the capability to be able to do that and to have that flexibility is huge in terms of your integration strategy. So I know I sent a lot of information across in a very short period of time. We completely understand. If you have questions, feel free to reach out. And thank you so much for attending the session. Have a great day.